Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Medeek Wall plugin. My name is Nathaniel P. Wilkerson, and today I wanted to discuss an issue that I've encountered currently with some discussions I've had with different architects and designers. And the biggest problem I think I've encountered recently is that they've said that the plugins are too detailed for what they want to do. And so I kind of want to dive into that a little bit today. So let's go ahead and just start by putting down a couple exterior walls here and talk about that a little bit. So yeah, by default, if you look at what the plugin creates, let's go ahead and turn off the cladding layer and the sheathing layer and the gypsum layer just so we can really see what's going on here. So this is kind of your typical wall. If you go ahead and throw in a window and a door just to make things a little more interesting, you're going to get all this framing and blocking, if you have blocking turned on, of course. And, all your king studs and trimmer studs and all of that good stuff. So yeah, this is kind of the default out-of-the-box behavior of the plugin. And as you can see, it does provide a lot of detail. And, and I totally understand the argument that, well, I don't need all this detail. Why do I need to do this? In the field, they're going to construct it the way they're going to construct it anyways. And so I don't want to be bothered with all the details that go on inside those walls. So yes, that is totally understandable, and and that is why actually there are different modes, and most people are aware of this, but some people are not. So what you can actually do is if you go ahead and select these two walls, and you can select more than one wall at once, by the way, you can right click on it, and then you'll notice that you've got a bunch of options here. Now I'm not going to get into all the CMU and ICF options. I'm focusing only on the 2D, 3D, and 3D full framing here. So let's go ahead and go into 3D no framing. Okay, so notice now that we've basically just switched these two walls into 3D no framing, and there are no studs, there are no headers, none of that is drawn. It's basically drawing the wall just as a single solid, okay, and it's 5.5 inches thick, and that represents all of the framing that goes inside that wall. So there's only one solid that's being drawn. Of course, now this is very lightweight, right? So if you want to kind of like block out your design, I recommend using the 3D no framing mode, just because of the lightweightness of the whole thing. And if you go ahead and throw another window in, you can do all that, and everything works just as normal. And the other thing to note is that stuff like sheathing, wall cladding, all of that is actually being generated in this mode. I just turned it off so you could see what's going on inside the walls, but as you can see, you've still got those outer layers and those inner layers being created. It's just all the framing goes away. And so and if this is the mode and this is all you need, as your design, then by all means I say use the 3D no framing mode. That's probably better for you. So I'm going to also show you guys now, you can actually operate completely in 2D as well, okay? And if you go here into the global settings, under the walls tab, and I think I've probably covered this many times before in other videos, but I just wanted to really focus on it today. You can set your default wall framing mode. So we're going to go ahead and set that to 2D for now. And then I think actually if we load up this again, it will go back to wall framing. Yeah, so we'll just turn that to 2D because it's grabbing what we did last, right? So I'm just going to start here at this end. Notice I also have these little markers turned on, the start and end markers for the walls. This is another option that I've talked about before in some other videos. I like to have these turned on. It just helps you know where you need to start your wall so that the corners properly mesh, right? So I'm just coming along here and I'm drawing, continuing on and drawing some more walls. And I'm working totally in 2D mode. And then, if I want to add some windows and doors, maybe we'll go ahead and add a window here, maybe another window over there, go over this wall, pop another window in, and let's pop one in there while we're at it. Okay, so see, I'm just working completely in 2D mode. Let's go ahead and demonstrate it one more time. I'm going ahead now and I'm going to do a 2x4 wall. I'm going to do an interior wall. And of course, when you're working in 2D mode, not all the information is displayed, right? Not all of it is being created, not all that geometry. And so it's, you may not know kind of what's going on as much as you do when you're in 3D mode, but that's just something to be aware of. And then I'm going to go ahead and maybe put a door in there. Let's change that header. Let's just say a 4x6 header. Hit update on that. And we're going to put that right in this wall here. I'm not worrying too much about the placement here. I'm just trying to show you guys kind of, real quickly how this all kind of works. Okay, so there you go. I mean, I'm working in 2D mode. I could do an entire house design like this. I could leave this in 2D mode, and I can add in other things like garage doors and everything else. Bottom line is the Medeek plugins, yes, they can give you a lot of detail, and they are designed to do that, especially the wall plugin. But I've set it up so that you don't have to operate in that mode if you don't want. You can operate in much simpler modes, and so not all of that geometry is being created, and you don't have to worry about any of it. And sometimes maybe it is a liability. Maybe you don't want to give them all this framing information because then they're relying on it, and if you somehow mess it up, then you're responsible. And so I totally get that. So let's go ahead now, and we can grab all these assemblies. Make sure you just grab just the wall assemblies. And by the way, you can click each one, hit the control key, hold the control key down, and grab each one of these wall assemblies, or you can just kind of lasso yourself around them all and do that. But grab them all and then go ahead and right click, and then let's go ahead and we're going to do 3D full framing and give it a second to update. And so there you go. So now we basically regenerated all of that into 3D full framing mode. So one thing to be aware, you're basically taking each one of those assemblies, and the plugin is completely redrawing it, regenerating it, and then so then you're getting all that geometry, right? Okay, so and if that's too much and you still want a 3D model, well then you can go to 3D no framing, which honestly I think is probably, for many architects, probably your best option, right? I think that is you don't need all the stud framing in there, all the blocking, all of the headers. You just want the basic outline, right? Okay, so the only thing is as you've noticed, each one of these is a separate assembly, and because it's a separate assembly, you have a situation here, like if you're doing like a plan view, a top down, you kind of have these edges, right, that end up at the end of the walls, and so it's not like one contiguous border all the way around, which you may want to show that way in layout or however you do your plan views and such. So what I've done actually is, if you go into the global settings here, you have this remove wall lines tool, and I'm not even sure if I've covered this before in another video. I probably have, but I just wanted to go over this, reiterate it one more time. If you turn this off in the global settings, now you can't set this on a per wall basis. This is just a global setting that you apply globally. Go ahead and hit the update on that, close that out, and now if you go ahead and regen all these walls, so I'm going to go ahead and select them again, and then I'm going to go ahead and regen, and that should regenerate all these walls. And now you'll notice that those edges have gone. So what's happening is when you go to that hide wall line mode, or turn that option on at least, what's happening, let's go ahead and turn that gypsum back off, we can take a better look at that. What's happening is it's hiding those top edges of the solids that make up that framing. And so because those are hidden, then you're not going to have those extra lines in there, and so it looks like that these are all one piece. And of course they're not, but that's where we're trying to give that impression, right? So that's something to be aware of. And by the way, this hide wall line mode or option, I guess you can call it, also works if you turn all the 3D framing on. So let's go ahead and turn that 3D framing on. Go ahead and regen that all, and you can see that it's now all framed out, but let's put the gypsum back on just so we have that right next to it. Okay, yeah, but you see all those lines are not shown, right? So it looks like one big monolithic piece that forms the framing of this structure. So anyways, a couple things on that. Yeah, just wanted to kind of re-clarify that and show you guys that. So again, yeah, I think people have this misconception that the Medeek wall, Medeek wall and all the other tools are very detailed, and of course they are, but you can work them in modes, to your whatever degree of detail that you would like. And so I think, you can, architects can use them, framers can use it, engineers. It's pretty, I think it has broad application across all these disciplines. So again, please use the wall plugin and make it work for you, make it work for your workflow. If it doesn't work, I'm always open to suggestions. So please contact me, tell me what could make it better, what could make it work within your workflow, and I will absolutely give it some consideration. So once again, guys, thank you, and I will talk to you later.